Hi class. Since we are going to be starting our conversation in Facing History and Ourselves with the idea of identity, which is of course, as it says here, very complex, right? A lot of complexity around this idea of identity. I thought that we could first take a look at this framework that Facing History has published for us about how they structure the course and tell you a little bit about where identity fits on this scope and sequence chart, and then sort of where we are and then where we're going. So first of all, it fits right here in individual and society. How do individual people fit into their society? It should make sense that we start with the idea of identity, because in order to understand this component, we have to know who we are, right? How do we view ourselves as individuals? What does it mean to be an individual? What sort of assumptions have shaped us? And how do we then interact with our society? And also, to push it even further, what is the identity of our society? So we'll be unpacking all of those different ideas. From there, we are going to look at something called we and they, right? We and they. Fix that. We and they. So who are we? Again, that's the identity component. And then who are they? If there is a we, then there is definitely going to be a they. How does one group form? And then how does one group determine who belongs and who doesn't belong? Which brings us to the historical study of the Holocaust. We need to understand what happens when you push that idea of grouping and othering to an incredibly violent extreme. How does that end and what does that look like? Now, we can talk a whole lot about different historical aspects of the Holocaust, and we definitely will touch on some of that. However, I am going to be somewhat reliant on your past history classes to teach you some of the history. And we are going to approach things really more from this up here, this study of human behavior, the Holocaust as the study of human behavior. How do we as individuals impact our society? And how does that decision to impact our society lead to even something as horrific as the Holocaust? So it's the human element here that's important. From the Holocaust, we will move on to judgment, memory, and legacy. We'll learn how to do this. Judgment, memory, and legacy. How is an event like the Holocaust memorialized? What is its legacy? And also, and not least for sure, how do you choose who you judge and how you judge them after an event like the Holocaust? Choosing to participate. This is going to bring us full circle and take us really right back to individual and society. So now that we understand the importance of the individual and society, we should end up with a real desire at the end of this class to want to participate, to want to give back to our community in some kind of way. And you guys are going to educate me on some issues that you are passionate about. And I am very much looking forward to that. More to come on that later. So we really sort of come full circle here. We start with individual and society. We move on to we and they. We discuss the Holocaust, judgment, memory, and legacy, choosing to participate, which brings us again right back to individual and society.